We'll have to use the Zoom. Welcome to Perspective Log X Lakers-fandom. Can you see the chat? Please comment on the chat. You don't have to pay anything to comment, and I will try to answer all the questions. Acknowledge all of you commenting. Are yourself. Finally, you got the title there. That's what we're going to talk about today. Five things that this acquisition produced for the Lakers. We gotta watch out because at a certain point we could be part of another a 17 trade, 7 teams trading chaos. So we don't know what we're going to finish with. I know we are after Horford for the we're after Horford, and I don't know exactly who else could be. All right, let's just start with this. So I divided 5 things that I want to talk about the Deandre Ayton uh, acquisition by the Lakers. And so let's start with the offensive, right? The first thing I want to mention is that there's an argument to be made for for Ayton, the negatives. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to come up with all the negatives. I've seen ex players talking really bad about him and all that kind of stuff. Um, but you don't get to the finals, and he got to the finals and not be, you know, that good. You don't get to be a first rounder pick and not be that good, and he hasn't. Um, he have very good characteristics about him. Yeah, he was in Portland. Do you understand that? He was first in Phoenix. He goes to the finals, and then he goes to Portland to be buried there. I would be. I wouldn't be a happy camper if that happened to me too. But you know, I've seen a lot of Hooper's perspective, dunking on him. But I'm going to tell you what I see when I see it from some aspects of coaching perspective. And before I go to my five arguments for Deandre Ayton, uh, I'm going to address this whole negativity around him. I can't count on that. I can count on that because there's some behaviors that you're going to see Hooper is having when they come from an elite team because, that Phoenix Suns that went to the finals, even though I can argue that the Lakers could have passed that team if AD would have been uh, healthy and LeBron. Both were unhealthy at the same time. The team couldn't survive that series. But while AD was there, they didn't have problems with Phoenix. So the Lakers would have gone to the finals and probably would have won that championship too if it wasn't because they were unhealthy, because they only had 93 days from one season, from the ending of their championship, because of what happened with the COVID in 2020, and they would have won that championship too. No disrespect to Giannis, but the Lakers team was kind of the same, maybe even better than the championship team at that year because they have corrected some of the problems that they had. Well, that's debatable, anyways. But aside from that, you go from that elite team to a team that is basically in the basement of the NBA, and they trade away Dame. And while they have promising players there, that's a team that is going to get better, you know. But you're in a conference where you have a bunch of other really really good teams over you, and so I wouldn't count maybe pettiness, maybe just anger because of that. It's something that I would finally And so I would not let that define what kind of players we're gonna get. I remember some people talking bad about Rondo before we got him, or while we got him, and then Rondo was an essential part of our championship team. So, you know, I just can't just you know um talk bad about a player without examining his conditions in situation. He doesn't like to drive on icy cold roads. I don't like to drive them either. Um, there are ways to work out and practice and do stuff. If you don't want that. Um, but the thing is, even though if you look at last year, his his let's look at his stats last year. So in 40 games, it was 14 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, and 1.6 assists per game. And this is the thing. He was 56 on field goal. Pretty impressive. He wasn't good on three pointers, but we don't need him. He can he can space the floor without the three pointers because he's pretty good on the elbow, uh, at the free throw line on that area. That still can. And he's not a guy who wants to score that much, bumping into the inside. So we're not, and we're having some players like Julian Reese and others that we're going to try for that. And so, in a dynamic of spacing like JJ's, I don't think he cares as much about that as he does that in 30 minutes, two turnovers per game. Um, you know, his totals are 576 points, 406 rebounds, 64 assists over 1,206 minutes. So, it's 19 points per 40 minutes. So it goes up when you actually talk about the minutes. 13 points, uh, 13.5 rebounds per 40 minutes, and 2.1 assists per 40 minutes. So, his usage is pretty high. Uh, he makes um, So he dropped a little bit from 23, 24. But a lot of what he does is using putbacks, cuts, pick and rolls. We're going to talk about that. Um, yeah, he used a lot of hook shots, a lot of elbow shots. So, so he delivered a double season. So he is not a bad center. We're not getting a trash like some people wanna say. And yeah, lack of motor. Okay, we got some guys at the draft that were pretty high motor, and we got um, yeah, we got some guys are pretty good motor guys. Um, we had some power forwards that can also play center in a small ball. But one thing that is good, I'm trying to see. I don't wanna miss the. So the 17 trade deal. I'm just monitoring that. So let's go. Let's go. Let's go with the five arguments I have. So elite, roll thread, and interior finisher. All right. So he is a great complement for LeBron and Luca on the pick and roll side. He's great pick and roll center. He's getting great as a diving at the rim, a lob threat. He capitalized in spaces created on double teams, especially when you have Luca and LeBron. You're gonna have a lot of double teams where Ayton is gonna be roaming free around that area. So there you have a lot of good spacing for him. Um, then there is low uses, high efficiency player. That's my second argument. All right, so this is where I want to spend a little time. This is one of the things that may have or looks bad on him when he is in Portland. And even back in the day when he was in back in the day when he was part of the Suns. But in this case, he could play to his advantage. Right? Why? He doesn't need to be the first scorer. He's probably going to be number three, or number four of these scoring guys. So you got Luca, you got LeBron, the Boston Reeves, stay, Austin Reeves. Then you are going to have also Laravia, who makes some noise on the offense. Um, you have offensive weapons in this team as it is right now that make Aiton's job better because he doesn't have to be that uh, that defense magnet. Now, if he becomes a defense magnet, somebody's gonna be somebody's gonna get lost in that defense. And then the problem is how the defenses are gonna react to LeBron and Luca. And if you react to Luca and Luca sees um, Ayton going through the back door or the opposite dunker spot, who is going to stop him? Defense are going to have to be scrambling around those three guys. And if you include Austin Reeves, four guys, they're going to have to scramble around those. And you don't need Ayton to be a playmaker because that's one of the things about him being a low usage, high efficiency player. He doesn't need to have plays called for him. He can just be the second option in that play. The play calls for LeBron, but he gets double. One of the other guys, either Austin is going to be free, either Luca is going to be free, or Ayton is going to be free. And Ayton is going to be free a lot because of Luca and LeBron. And that's where he can be really efficient. He can be high. He is already highly efficient in terms of percentage. But if the offense, it's all around him, that's when he gets in problems because he is a finesse center. He looks like a forceful center, like a bruising center. And he can be because he's athletic enough, but he doesn't need to be in this team to score. And that's something important because he's going to get all the putbacks, all the cuts, all the pick and roll plays. He doesn't need to be a ball dominant center. And he is a total improvement over what we had last year. A complete improvement over what we had last year. And you saw Luca, making our guys, except Alex Len. I still can't get over the idea that we chose Alex Len over trying to bring back anybody from our whole team. Anybody could have been better than Alex Len. Our two-way players, Trey Jamison and Christian Coloco, were better than Alex Len. They were better than Alex Len. I prefer Coloco to Alex Len. I prefer Trey Jamison third over Alex Len any day. I prefer Julian Reese that we have now over Alex Len. I prefer the other guys, Eric Dixon over Alex Len. I prefer any of those over Alex Len. And obviously, And obviously, all these guys are athletic. Maybe Eric Dixon he's not as athletic as the other guys, but he doesn't need to because he's a high scorer and he can score from three. And if they develop these young kids that we are getting, we're going places. We're going places. Now, that is our second. Our first one is an elite role threat, an interior finisher. That's our first on the offensive side. On the low usage, high efficiency side, which is the second one, perfect. We don't need to use him as the center that needs to have the ball in the hands. We don't need him to do that. We got ball dominant players already. We have enough of them, right? So, and all this that we're talking about, we're having him without we're having him we're having him without having to trade Dalton Connect, any picks or anything like that. So if we wanted to get another player for that money, we can still do it. We can still have, and I guess we're going to be participant of this 7 teams trade talks that we are right now involved in. I don't know. Uh, the only word I have is that the Lakers are very interested in getting Horford uh, for to be the backup center uh, for the Lakers. The Lakers probably are going to use a lot of small ball, athletic, and 3-point shooting centers. Because Horford would be one if he gets it, but Eric Dixon can play that role too. Uh, he was a pivot guy uh, in, uh, in college. Now, so we got that. We got the love thread, the pick and roll thread. Then we have the low use and high efficiency. This is number 3. Rim protection and defensive upside. I know. He's not the most elite rim protector. But he's a good defender. He's a 7-footer. And he blocks shots from time to time. And we're getting shot blockers too. So we are getting those guys too. So we don't need as much as what we have. And I don't know what the Lakers are cooking. So if we get Horford, that's good because he's also a good defender. But also we could get Claxton on that trade. I wouldn't mind, right? So he is good enough as a rim protector, but this is the most important part of his defense is that he can change to the perimeter shooter in a pinch, and he's a good perimeter defender. And that is important on the defense that the Lakers are planning to do, right? If he can work defensively the perimeter and be good enough in the paint so people can kind of think about it, then we are better than what we were. And he can anchor a defense. He can do it, you know? And we are getting defensive players. I know I heard a lot about we're not getting defensive players, but that's not true. We are getting defensive players. And so we're approaching 40 minutes of this, so I'm going to go a little bit faster from the... So the third point is rim protection and defensive upside. Now, the fourth point is rebounding and transition potential. He's a very good offensive rebounder. Very good. Maybe not the most elite, but very good. And there he's going to have cleanups, lob finishes, putbacks, all kinds of stuff that he is really good at. And in a team that is getting pretty young and athletic, he doesn't have to be the best at it. Because there's going to be a few other guys like Larabia and other guys that we are getting. The guy from the draft, D-Roll, that guy, he's a beast. He's a beast blocking shot. He's a beast on the rebounds, and he's a beast going hard to the basket. So we are getting people around the 6'8", 6'7", depending on who's measuring, because apparently in the NBA there's a problem measuring people. They always put KD as a 6'9", when LeBron is a 6'9", and KD is like LeBron is like here compared to KD. That's not a 6'9", that's a 7-footer, man. But I digress about that. So we got Ayton. He secures possessions. He helps to initiate the transitions, and he can trade for lob finishes and for cleanups. Now, this is the fifth one that connects everything together. LeBron and Luka are going to extend his value. This is important for him, for his career, which is the reason I think he probably chose this over Indiana. And the other thing is he can focus on what he's really good at and not having to get demands from a team that he cannot carry. He doesn't need to carry the Lakers. He only needs to protect the paint, good enough to win games, protect the defend the perimeter, which he does pretty good, and score 14 points a game, more than what Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron can do, and take a little bit of the pressure on them. Maybe I don't know if we are gonna trade Dalton Connect, but then you can have Dalton Connect and combined with the other two, maybe scoring a little more. Dalton is going to be on his second year. We don't know what to expect from him. We're going to have Laravia too. We're going to have a few other guys that can score points. And something I heard on when I was on X today is that this guy's JJ wants this guy's offensive mind at first. Well, 1 second. That's one of the problems we had. Our bench wasn't offensive enough, right? We got to be the best defense in the NBA for a little while. So the problem wasn't just the defensive. I mean, we have big holes defensive that in the season they didn't look as big as they were when we went to the playoffs. But the biggest deficiency is that our bench couldn't score. And I know a lot of people are gonna laugh at me for this, but I think Brownie is gonna do better this year, and he's gonna get some time. And let's see how that develops, right? But the other thing is the Lakers are not done. And that's important to know. The Lakers are not done. But we got a center right now. And we got a center that is not bad. That is better than what we had. And that, yeah, maybe he had some locker room issues back in Portland. But that was not a picnic. Portland was really bad. And the truth is, Portland is not that bad. But they are on the West. And on the West, there is a fight to be better than the champions. And a lot of people are trying to take down OKC. And OKC is not a picnic. OKC is one of those teams that people are going to remember as one of the best teams that win the championship. Because we got a lot of guys who can be stars in the making in that team, and they just are starting. And that's why the Lakers, it's important that the Lakers are making this move to get younger. So that's all I have for you now. I'm going to leave because I've been talking for almost 44 minutes. Some of it I was adjusting because I didn't have the title done. But hopefully, if something happens, I may come back to talk a little more. But for now, just take care of each other, take care of yourselves. May God bless you, and go Lakers.